Hello friends, welcome to the official channel of CLAT Gurukul. I'm Nilanjan Bose and today I'll be discussing a few questions related to para-jumbled. As you know my dear friend that there are different kind of questions may appear in the competitive examination depending on this particular chapter like para-jumbled or rearranging of sentences. Many of the students find that it is really difficult for them to get through, but actually it is not like that. If you go through the proper logical sequence, you will definitely make it correct. So my dear friend, I am here to present you 5 different questions based on this particular section named as para-jumbled. Without wasting time, let us proceed to question number 1. Here 5 options, 5 different segmentation have been done over there. Now option A, B, C, D, E. If you go through all the sentences, you find that this particular passage is all about. You have to identify that what kind of passage it is. What is the passage all about? If you get to know that, definitely it will be easier for you to club all the points together. And just maintaining the logical sequence, you can reach out which is the correct option over here. Right. So let's start. Considering after going through the entire sentences, you find that this passage is all about cricket. Now, my dear friend, if you go through C part, whatever has been written in C, that is, cricket has been an extremely popular game in India for quite some time now. As you go through most all the options, you find that it is the passage is talking about the status of cricket. Now, definitely you should be starting with C. It will be ideal opener of the entire paragraph. So considering the C will be the beginning sentence, now if you go through the option, you find that only in option C, it starts with C. The rest of the option, not a single option is starting with C. So obviously, you eliminate the rest of the options and you should go for option C. But if you connect it logically, then after C, it should be B. During the British period also, cricket remained popular in India. Why is it so? Because firstly, you were discussing about the status of cricket and you were comparing that in the British period, what kind of popularity cricket gained at that time in India. Followed by E. Why? Because however, due to this particular reason, other games or sports did not receive the required attention they deserve. Now my dear friend, you started the paragraph with the status of cricket in India. And in the British period, you also compared that it remained popular in India. And that is the particular reason why the rest of the sports or games that didn't receive the required attention they received. So C, B, E then comes to A. Thus, despite India's huge population, we have not done well in Olympic Games. So obviously, if you are totally concentrating on a particular game like cricket, definitely you have little scope to concentrate in the other games too. And you are not doing well in Olympic Games. Though all the sentences are correlated to each other, maintaining a proper logical sequence. And finally, you have the sentence in D. It is time our government and corporate fraternity pay due attention to other games or sports and we redeem our national pride in Olympic Games. Yes, it is the right time that the government should be concentrating in this particular segment that they must promote the other games too so that our players will perform in Olympic Games. So my dear friend, if you go through the entire passage, all the sentences taken into consideration, you definitely frame a proper logical sequence over there and that will help you to reach out to the correct answer. So in this particular question number 1, your answer is option C. Let us move to question number 2. Once again, 5 different sentences are given. Now you have to correlate each and every sentence so that you may get the proper answer. Okay. So first sentence, it is written that last March I was invited to present a paper on the topic of whether the mistakes of the 20th century would be repeated in the 21st century as well. Now my dear friend, just concentrate one word and that is I. It indicates that it is the perception of the author. It is the perception of the writer who is describing the entire thing. Now, if you find that out of the 5 sentences or 6 sentences, whatever it may be, if you find the word like I, it indicates the individual perception. So definitely it will be the beginning one of the entire paragraph. Now, coming to the beginning one, last March I was invited to present a paper on the topic of whether the mistakes of the 20th century would be repeated in the 21st century as well. It will be the beginner of yours. Now, if you go through the option, you find that in option B, it starts with A only. And the rest of the option do not start with A. So, eliminating the rest of the option A, C and D, your answer will be B. But how we will correlate the sentences, let me proceed, let me tell you. Now, in option B, the economic crisis hadn't become grave then. You were hinting out the mistakes of the 20th century, and you suppose that it should not be repeated in 21st century as well. You are pointing out a particular phase of time, particular time. At that time, the particular word written in B, it is written then. That time indicated by then. The economic crisis had not become grave then. So it has the combination. It can be combined with A. So A, B followed by C. But today, now you are comparing at that particular time what happened and now what is the actual status. In option C, in sentence C, it is written that, but today the world is in the midst of the biggest economic crisis since 1929. So then word and after that, but today. So you are having comparison over there. So definitely it can be correlated. So A, B, C. Then you go for D. The key difference between then and now is that the old power structures have finally disappeared. Now my dear friend, you have already compared at that time what happened and now what is the actual status. So you have to differentiate the things from then and now. And that is what is written over there in D. Finally, it should be E. Why is it E? Now even the US is pleading for financial help from China. So it will be the ending note, ending sentence of the entire paragraph. So finally we can conclude that the correct option will be option B. Let us talk about question number 3. The opener and the last sentence have already been given over there. Let us consider the opening one. We are living in an age in which technology has certainly annihilated distance. Now my dear friend, and after that if you go through the rest of the sentences, you find that in Q it is written, physically we are now all neighbors, but psychologically we are still the strangers to each other. Don't you think that it has a connection with S1? Of course it is, because in S1 it is written that we are living in an age in which technology has suddenly annihilated distance. Now if you take into consider the physically what is the actual status and psychologically what we are thinking about ourselves, so in that particular segment you find this sentence is apt, and S1 definitely has a connection with Q. So let us start with Q. So your opener will be Q. Now if you have decided that your opener will be Q, logically it is correct. So you should eliminate the rest of the options C and D, because A and B start with the letter Q. Now after Q it should be P. Why? Because it has direct connection. We have never been so conscious of our variety as we are now, that we have come to such close quarters. Now started with S followed by P, started with S1 followed by Q, then comes P, and after that it should be R. Why? Because are we going to let this consciousness? Now my dear friend, in this particular sentence the word is this consciousness. Now what is the consciousness? It is already expressed in P. Conscious word is written over here. So it is the key word. You have to find the key words so that you can easily connect the sentences. Now your sequence is proceeding like Q, P, R, and after comes S. After that it comes S. How are we going to react? Now if you have already identified this particular consciousness, and are we going to let this consciousness of a variety make us fear and hate each other? It's a question that has been raised in your mind. Now after that the next sentence will be, how are we going to react? So this is a reactive process which you need to apply. So logically Q, P, R, S, and the ending sentence is already given over there in the form of S6, and that is, in that event we should be dooming ourselves to wipe each other out. Now this is the reactive process. So my dear friend, if you go through logically, you find your correct option will be Q, P, R, S, which is written in option B. So your correct answer will be option B. Let us talk about question number 4. Most of the time it happened that the students get fear when the parajumble section in the sentences are so lengthy. At that particular point of time, they feel that it will be cumbersome task for them, burdensome work for them to go through the entire segment. But it's not like that. Although the sentences are lengthy, yet you can easily find out what is the actual application, what is the logical sequence if you go through the lines. So let us start with A. It is written, over the years, I have had the opportunities to observe and understand the thought process behind the ads that have been flooding both the print and the TV media. Now, my dear friend, once again, you find a particular letter is written over there, and that is I. Once again, it indicates the perception. So as I have already told you earlier also, that once you get the perception of a particular people, it should be the beginning one. Now in this particular case, A will be the opener, followed by B. Why? Because although there is a huge shift in the quality of ads, the entire passage is identifying the print media and the TV media, and they're all about the advertisement. Now I have had the opportunities to observe and understand the thought process behind the ads. I, as a person, I am thinking that what is the actual process behind the ads. Now it has direct connection with B in that particular perspective, that there is a huge shift in the quality of ads. At the time, earlier one, the ads were presented in such a way, now the ads have been, technically it has become so advanced. So after A, it should be B, followed by D. There is an increasing attempt by most companies to be seen as cool and funky. Now my dear friend, as the time progresses, different type of companies are coming into the business world, and they will be definitely interested to have the profit earning motive. They are having the profit earning motive, and in that particular purpose, they are making the ads more attractive, and so that it can be seen as cool and funky. So your combination will be A, B, D, followed by E. Another reason could be burgeoning number of companies, which means an exponential increase in the number of ads that are being made. Now, number of companies are coming into the business world. So definitely there is a competition, feeling of competition, and everybody is trying to supersede other. In that particular process, each and every company is responsible for increasing the number of ads. So A, B, D, E, followed by C. Proportionally, the number of ads that lack in quality have gone up exponentially as well. Yes, it is a real fact of the present scenario, considering the present situation. So my dear friend, if you go through the entire passage, you find out that correct answer will be A, B, D, E, C, and which is written in option C. Moving to question number 5. If you go through the passage, you find the passage is focusing on national integration. It is the highlighting factor of the entire passage. Now in straightway, if you go through C, it is written that national integration is the feeling among all the citizens of a country that they are all part of one nation. As I have already mentioned, my dear friend, that this is the highlighting factor of the entire passage. So you should start with C. And if you go through the option also, you find that each and every option has started with C. And after C, if you find option A and B, if you go through option A and B, rather in A, whatever has been written, and B, whatever has been written, you must be pretty sure about it, that this kind of feeling, national integration is the feeling. Now what kind of, this kind of feeling has been mentioned in B. This feeling takes up beyond the bounds of family, caste, religion, as well as region, and helps us to develop a broad perspective that all of us together constitute an extensive group called the nation. Now you can be confused that why should I take B after C? You can also take A option, A, the sentence, whatever have written in A. But my dear friend, if you go through B, the particular word extensive group has been mentioned over there, and this group is also written in sentence A. So it can be correlated. That's why I am selecting C followed by B, then comes A, because that group has been highlighted over there. It is the key word. Now if you proceed like that, C, B, then A. Fine. And after that, we do not then limit our thinking to our own caste or religion, but think about all our fellow citizens. So my dear friend, it's clear-cut logic that you have started with national integration. It just this feeling of national integration, it constitutes a group, and that group rises to a fellow feeling, a feeling of brotherhood amongst the citizens, and after that you should go for the option D, the sentence whatever has been written in D. So your correct answer will be logically C, B, A, then goes for D. So this particular option is written in option D, C, B, A, D, and this is the correct answer. My dear friend, I have explained different perspective of rearranging of sentences. More or less, it is totally depending on the logical thinking of yours. If your thinking level is good, if you are thinking in a proper direction, definitely it will be easier for you to get through this particular segment in the competitive examination. I have tried to explain the tricks as well. So, from my side, I'd like to request you keep on practicing as much as possible so that it will be at your fingertips. And this particular segment you should take care of. If you have liked this video, you please share your feeling on YouTube channel. Then mobile number is also given over there. If you want to have any query, you please get yourself connected. Thank you.